name is Julie Anderson, and I am a social studies and arts and humanities teacher. We are showcasing lots of different classes, clubs, and different groups that have either completed great projects or just wanted an opportunity to showcase student work to families. So we wanted an opportunity to bring families, invite Central families into the school so that we could show them all the great stuff their kids are doing. So project-based learning is a way for students to learn content in their classes in a more meaningful way. For instance, getting students involved in community service projects that connect with social studies content is one way that you'll see students demonstrating their knowledge and their thinking skills in ways that stretch beyond the classroom.
And I know there are projects being showcased here in the gymnasium. Cafeteria.
Yes.
I also heard someone saying that there's going to be more projects in the library.
That's correct, yes.
And what are some of the projects that we can expect to see today?
Well, I know that our arts and humanities class, the class that I teach, we have created bracelets using recycled material, and the intent is for those students to gift those bracelets to their classmates or to their peers or to their family members as friendship bracelets. Our civics classes, our 10th grade civics classes, have created board games that demonstrate their knowledge of the U.S. Constitution. There's lots of projects going on, and I honestly can't wait to walk around and check some of them out myself, because I know English also created horror movies. So.
And is there anything interesting that you'd like to tell the audience?
This is the very first time that we have hosted Central Celebration Family Night, and we are very excited to invite families in so that we can celebrate all the wonderful things students and classes are doing here at Central.
My name is Kimberly Gibson, and I am a chemistry teacher here at Central, which is sophomores through seniors. Tonight I have two students here to talk about a project that we've been doing in class. We are investigating a real-life arson case that happened in the early 90s, and they're going to learn all about chemical reactions, specifically combustion and fire reactions, and they're going to take the evidence plus what they've learned and make their own judgments about whether or not it actually was arson or if it was an accident.
For those who are interested and can't make it to the event, could you give a little bit of, not quite tell the whole thing, but a little bit of insight as to the story of that case?
Sure. So in 1991 in Corsicana, Texas, there was a house that burned down with, unfortunately, 3 small children in it. And the father of those children was said to have started the fire. He was convicted and found guilty. However, years later, fire inspectors kind of reopened the case and looked with new knowledge about combustion and decided that maybe there was some evidence that it was accidental based on some things that had happened in the house and some chemistry that didn't make sense. So tonight I have some students here to talk about that and to demonstrate a couple reactions, because that's what we've been working on right now, is just that foundation of chemical reactions before we make our judgments on that case.
All right, and is there anything interesting about the event or about your station in general?
I think what's been interesting for me as a teacher about this is that it's been entirely student-led. My students have kind of come up with what they wanted to present tonight. They have their own ideas about this case and their own ideas about what's important in this case, and they are very insightful. It's been super interesting to listen to them.
Hi, my name is Lydia Doty. I am a senior here at Central Hardin High School, and I'm doing, I've already forgotten.
What subject are you focusing on for your project?
For this subject, this is arts and humanities. So what this project we've been able to do is create jewelry with magazines and beads and a line of string. So what we're going to do to make like the beads is that we cut up strips of magazine. It can be like any color you want, and then we roll them up into different shapes and different sizes, so then they can create recyclable jewelry. And it's a really fashionable thing. It looks really cool, it's really easy to make, and it's just a really fun thing to do with the arts and humanities class. Even though that I'm a senior, for my credits I do need an arts and humanities class. So for my arts and humanities class, we did actually were assigned to create these, but in the end I really ended up enjoying creating it because it was just a really fun and easy thing to make. You can make this with like glue, scissors, beads, anything around the house. It was just super fun.
I'm Celeste Sutton, and I'm a junior.
I'm Lily Williams, and I'm a junior.
All right. And what is the project that y'all are showcasing today?
My project is a chemistry project, so it goes into chemical reactions and everything of that sort. So we have 6 different kinds of chemical reactions. We have synthesis, we have single replacement, double replacement, incomplete combustion, and decomposition.
My project is cell phone addiction. I had a research paper, and we had to make a trifold to showcase what we learned. And basically, I learned the history behind the addiction, the solutions to the addiction, and my personal opinion of what solution is best.
All right. And how did y'all go about actually showcasing these projects?
With mine, I'm doing a experiment. So it talks about how combustion works and incomplete combustion works. And we made a poster to kind of diagram it and break it down so that it's easier to comprehend and understand.
All right.
Yes. And with me, like I said, I have a trifold that I'm really just going to be presenting to other people. And I put pictures on there. I put visual components and everything that they can see and kind of connect to and see charts and stuff.
And is there anything interesting y'all would want to share with the audience?
Well, I didn't know that there was different kinds of things fire can produce. I mean, it might sound crazy, but if you don't have enough oxygen in fire, it can produce carbon monoxide, which is poisonous to you, which can harm you during fires. And it also produces carbon, which is like the silt residue that is left on the walls after the fire occurs.
Yeah, something interesting for me is that I never really understood like the impact of project-based learning. I learned a lot through my research paper, not only that, but the projects that I made along with it. So I really liked how this new learning style is like helping me learn. So it's pretty cool.
My name's Sophia, I'm in 10th grade.
My name's Tori, I'm also in 10th grade.
And what class are you showcasing for?
Honors English.
Honors English.
And what is the actual project?
This project behind us, this is the short film that we had to make, or it was...
You could choose between like a short story or a short film that's basically supposed to show like literary elements and how to make your stuff scary.
And then they also had another project that's over there by the lockers about choosing an album or making a poem composed of like other poems and like writing your story about your own name.
Without spoiling too much of it, what's a little bit of what happened in your short film? Just a quick summary.
So there was a love triangle in mine, and our boy said that one of the girls had to go, and one of the girls did go. That's all I'll say.
And then in mine, I had it where someone had a box, and her parents tried to get rid of her, and I can't say much.
My name is Cassie Wheeler, and I'm in 9th grade.
My name's Addison Sego, and I'm also 9th grade.
All right. And what class are you showcasing for today?
We are both showcasing for the Spanish class for our high school.
And what project are you doing for Spanish class?
I am presenting a Mi Mochila slide, or also a book, which translates to what is in my backpack.
And I'm presenting a board game.
What kind of board game are you doing?
So it's a Sarah and a Star board game on when to use Sarah and a star.
When we had the assignment to make a book or a board game, we wanted to have something creative and something that can help you remember very easily. So we made something that helped us remember, really. We had a group, and we just thought that slideshows, we have our notes on most of our slideshows, so they help us remember. And then for our game, it's a matching game, so it makes your mind work harder.
Hello, my name is Christina Williams. I'm the Spanish 1A and B teacher here at Central Hardin High School. The students had several projects, but the ones we're highlighting today are a Spanish book where they use their vocabulary, their school vocabulary, and they had to create set in a star games Ser and estar mean to be in Spanish, whereas in English you just have to be. So they had to use place and doctor to help them figure out if they're using ser or estar. And so the kids were pretty creative, created their games. Some of them went the traditional board game way, and I did have a few students that created digital games on the computer. So that was pretty interesting, and that's what we're doing today. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, bonus question. Could you give an example of when it would be appropriate to use ser or estar?
Yes. So, for example, when you're talking about a book belonging to a person, you would use ser because it's showing relation, the book belonging to somebody. And then if you're talking about yo estoy en la cafetería or estoy en la escuela de Central Hardin, that would be estoy or estar, which is a location. You use the acronym place. All right, thank you.
My name's Elena. I'm in 10th grade. This is civics and economics.
And what are some of the projects that y'all are doing for civics and economics?
So some of the projects, such as like what you're seeing here, is we made board games. We've done commercials, we've done podcasts, we've done all sorts of things just to kind of demonstrate like the different areas that we're learning.
And what are y'all specifically showcasing today?
So today we have a couple of the economic sides from Part B where we're showcasing like different products and the economic factors like elasticity, scarcity, and then we have board games from our Constitution unit that basically teach about the government and how it's supposed to be labeled as by the Constitution.
I see that you have a Holiday Barbie thing here. How exactly does that fit into econ and civics?
So Barbie dolls are one of the most top-selling toys, even from like centuries now, because they've been around for a really long time. It shows basically like the economic impact based on like markets of like toys and dolls. It shows like how price of supply and demand can impact price, range. It just basically kind of shows. I'm currently in the Part B class, so I haven't done this project yet. However, we will be doing it in just a couple weeks. I can tell you the board game back there, as shown, is essentially something that my group has done, the one being played. It was to teach 5th graders how to, a little more about the government, because they're doing their unit on the Constitution and world history this year. But it basically just shows supply, demand, impact around the world, as well as like the market ranges of everything.
Someone earlier mentioned the little passports that y'all are.
Oh yeah, so if you get your passport fully turned in, you will end up getting into a drawing for like a bowling card or gift card. There's different prizes. I'm not very well informed. So you have to go to every single station and you end up getting a stamp from each one. So like if you interact, if you answer a question, if you go get your fortune read, do a board game, you get stamped. If you get stamps, all of them, you turn them in at the end. That's where you get the prize drawings.
Me llamo Senora Lane. My name is Miss Lane. I'm a Spanish teacher here at Central Hardin. I'm here for my Spanish 3-4 class. Estoy aquí con algunos libros que han escrito mis estudiantes de Español 3 y 4. I'm here with some books that my Spanish 3-4 students wrote.
And why exactly did they choose to do books and fortune tellers?
We did books after we did a unit on the past tense. So we were practicing the past tense, and a lot of books, especially children's books, are in the past tense. And then we did fortune tellers, also known as cootie catchers, to practice the future, because I can tell you your future.
And is there anything interesting about Spanish 3-4, or even the language of Spanish, or about this event in general that you would like to share?
So the coolest thing about Spanish 3-4 is that we have a very small class. Right now we have 15 students in the class, so student choice drives a lot of the assignments that we do and the vocab we learn.
My name is Chloe Hayes and I'm a junior. My name is Savannah Roberts, and I am a junior.
My name is Hattie Duckworth, and I'm a junior.
And what class are you presenting for?
This is for the dual credit English 102 class.
And what are y'all actually presenting specifically for?
So we had a 8 to 12 page paper that we had to research an issue in like our economy and world, and then we had to do research and provide all these solutions and stuff, and then determine the best solution for that problem. And then we created like either a billboard or a visual image to display our problem.
And what was the problems that each of y'all worked on?
Okay, so I worked on addiction. My main problem was trying to find a way for addicts to re-enter society sober and not fall back into their same routine. So that was mine.
I focused on college affordability and lowering the tuition fees without ruining the quality of education. And my main solution was lowering textbook cost because that seemed to be the biggest issue for students.
Mine was about cropland depletion and how it is growing each year and how we just don't have enough land to grow crops to feed everyone. And so my main solution was to provide better management and equipment for the farmers to better take care of our land that we have.
And is there anything interesting about English 102 or about your all's respective projects that you'd like to share?
Okay, so I would say something interesting about dual credit English as a whole was it was a lot of research and finding a way to better yourself as a person and better society. So I definitely recommend it, even though it's a lot of work, but it is really helpful in finding a way to include yourself in your community in a way that can help everyone.
Yeah, I think I definitely recommend it. I'm glad that I did it now instead of waiting. I think now it helped me better prepare for other classes like public speaking and for my senior English that I will have next year.
I feel like the class was very well knit and incorporated and everyone was a part of it, and I feel like I like taking it in high school instead of college because you have all these probably 60-something people in a college class, but then you probably have 20 people in a dual credit class, and it's just really easier and you feel more comfortable with the work you're doing.
All right, thank you very much.
My name is Megan Meredith, and I teach visual arts, and I'm also the art club sponsor.
My name's Liliana Garcia, and I'm a junior right now in Central Hardin.
So I can safely assume that you're presenting for the art class and art club, right?
Yes, we have some pieces right now that was created during art class, but then we also have pieces from the art club students that has been created outside of art class on their own time. And then we also have a student that does a lot of digital work that is selling some buttons and posters and actually doing live portraiture on scene. Yep.
And I heard you say earlier that they're actually selling these art pieces.
Yes. So each piece is a different price just depending on how much time it took to create and then also how much money it took to produce the things because some of the pieces are larger than others.
And is there anything interesting about art class, art club, this event in general, or just anything you'd like to say?
I feel like this year in particular, the art club has done a lot of after-school activities for the community to come in and witness what all we've been doing. And so one of these nights is really amazing that it shows the community what people are doing outside of art club and art class. So it's not just for us; it's for the whole entire school to display their work. And the art club we've done quite a few things, and we are about to create a mural. So, yeah. Do you want to add to that?
I wanted to talk more about the mural. So we are helping brighten up an office that's pretty plain. The walls are gray, all of them, And so I like to think that art, just like in general, it just brightens up so many things. And I love how the maintenance person that requested this, that, you know, they reached out and realized, like, you know, art does make an impact, and it makes things just like more warm and more happy.
And for you, is there anything specific here that you have painted?
Yes, I have made the one over there. It's a still life. I included a cat peering into the window. That's my cat that I have at home. And I also included one of my other projects into there, which is a sculpture. It's called a ball jointed doll. Yes, it's that one. And basically with that, I made it out of polymer clay. And then the inside is hollow, and so you use that to make to string it, and then you compose it.
And is there anything extra that y'all like to say?
And the art club is also going on a field trip to KMAC in Louisville. We have been learning about what it takes to design. We're about to do the graphics design career pathway here. And so the higher level visual arts students are starting to learn the Adobe programs, and we're about to create some logos and promotional pieces. And they're learning about how to set up a file to print, and so they'll actually be able to see what it takes to create the screen prints and put it on shirts and materials. So I think that'll be really cool and fun. And then we also have another artist that just walked in. If they would like to come and talk about their work. Legend, come talk about your work. Your work.
I like to make a lot of like artwork in art club based on like stuff in nature. I love like a lot of like nature and like mossy stuff, and just trying to like kind of make things not as like geometric and more like fluid, I guess. I just like how like you can just like kind of be creative with everything.
Is there anything here specifically that you made?
Yeah, these three right here are mine. This is a still life that I made the beginning of the year with a couple of like objects of mine that I found around my house.
I'm Maddie Miller, and I'm a junior here at Central Hardin.
And I am Briley Little, and I'm also a junior here at Central Hardin.
And what class are you presenting for today?
So we are presenting for the Ag Education Pathway, which feeds directly into our FFA organization.
All right. And what exactly is FFA, for those who don't know?
So FFA is the National FFA organization. It relies on the agriculture industry. It's a very wide-spanning industry that is in multiple different schools, and it helps kids get involved within an industry that they see on a daily basis.
So each of these posters displayed are our SAE posters, which stands for Supervised Agriculture Experiences. And so each kid within an agriculture class has to develop an SAE, whether that's a kid at home feeding his dog, or we have many of our members who raise commercial poultry farms or large beef operations. And so each of us on these posters has shown what our SAE is with different pictures, different things that we are involved in, what our future is with our SAE and within the FFA organization. And so each of us, as a executive committee and as an officer team, have to make these posters that we have spent money, time, and different aspects of our lives in.
And what did each of you specifically work on?
So my SAE is a poultry and beef production. So my family runs a commercial poultry operation where we own 80,000 chickens on a rotation of 60 days in and out. And between those days, we sanitize and clean the barns within 14 to 21 days. And then we also own a beef cattle operation where I own 2 head of my own as well as 4 calves, and then we sell the calves off for boxed beef within our community.
My SAE is within the equine industry. My personal SAE is with my barrel horse. We compete at numerous events pretty much on a weekly basis. I work with him every day, whether that's simply feeding or exercising him for numerous hours. My SAE placement, which draws me in money, is also in the equine industry, but it is instructing and teaching kids how to care and ride horses.
All right. And is there anything interesting about FFA Ag Education or about this event in general that you all would like to share?
I think the real important thing is every kid is involved in agriculture, whether it's you have a pet, you just driving a car is related somewhat in agriculture, and I think it's really important that kids get to see how their life directly relates to the agriculture industry, and these SAEs and agriculture classes here at Central really help them do that.
And then it's also important for each of our kids to go home and show their families, whether that's their parents or their grandparents or their younger siblings, just how agriculture impacts each of their lives. And we can't live without agriculture. So just showing that agriculture impacts each and every one of us every day is just something that's extremely important to each and every one of us as a member of an ag education classroom or as an FFA member.
I'm Lindy Barnes. I'm a junior.
I'm Brooklyn Suarez. I'm a senior.
And what class are you presenting for?
We are presenting for newspaper.
All right. What exactly are you presenting, or what exactly is the project that you're presenting?
We're just presenting our entire site. Our class is kind of like a working project because, everything we do is like presented to the entire student body. So we're just presenting like all of the articles that we've written this year.
All right. And what are don't say the whole thing, but a bit of a summary of an article that each of you all have written.
So this year I wrote an article about a student here that came from Ukraine. It was a really eye-opening article to write, and it definitely made me more thankful for the life that I've lived in America. And it was also just a really good opportunity to learn about how to empathize with people that maybe you don't have a lot of similarities with.
I wrote an article about the pressure of romantic relationships for teenagers nowadays, and I wanted to connect more with student body and how relationships now may be a little troubling, and I kind of wanted to just connect with them. And it was more for we have a little unit of the teenage wellness, which I posted it on. So I just wanted to connect with some of the students and make them not feel left out in that kind of area.
And what is something interesting about the Central Hardin newspaper that y'all would like to share that people may not know?
Oh, okay. I have a good one. So we actually have a TikTok. Maybe a lot of people don't know that because it's not something you can access at school. But we do have one, and we film a bunch of little fun videos on there, so you should definitely check it out.
I would say about our magazine that we have and we release at the end of each year, and it kind of gives over general information about our newspaper, where you can find out some of the main articles, some of the main stories, and it's only $5, and a lot of people should buy them and look at them.
And is there anything interesting just in general that you would like people to know? Whether it's about a recent story, about the newspaper, about the event, about media.
So, unlike a lot of other newspapers, we take guest writer submissions all the time. So it's actually really easy to write a paper for us, even if you're not on the Central Times staff. So I'd highly encourage anybody that has an opinion that they'd like to get out there to just email us and put your opinion out there.
I would say our campus life photos. That it's basically every single day we try to put on our site of just what's going on around Central Hardin campus, and I think more people should try to get involved in that. And like, hey, like if we want to take a picture of you, like to get involved in that.